I'll put it in the chat.
A blog. Really? All right. All right. All right. All right. Huh. All right. Can we start?
Yes, Prabhu.
All right.
Can you spotlight yourself, maybe?
I will. I will.
Okay.
I love it. Hold on a second.
We too.
My computer's become very slow. Or maybe because I'm live streaming it. Yeah, 1 second. I'm pulling up my document and then we'll be going.
Can you spotlight yourself, maybe?
Yes, yes. I will. 1 second. 1 second. Hold on a second.
We too.
Computer's become very slow. Or maybe because I'm live streaming. Yeah, 1 second. I'm pulling up my document and then we'll be going.
Do you have the YouTube on?
Can you spotlight yourself? Yes,
Might
I
need to be.
1 second. 1
You
second.
might need to mute the YouTube, Prabhu. Do you have the YouTube on?
Yes,
I need to mute the YouTube, Prabhu.
Prabhu, I think you're supposed to close the browser window where the YouTube is on.
All right. Now you can hear me?
Yes, Prabhu, we can
Yes.
hear you.
Okay. Fantastic. Let's get started. Thank you.
Not on YouTube.
Cannot hear on YouTube?
I can't hear you on YouTube. Now, yes. Now, yes.
Prabhu, your YouTube, I think your YouTube is on right now.
Yeah.
You have to kill that app, kill that screen because it's doing a feedback thing.
Okay. I did. Better now?
Yep, should be.
All right. You can start the recording again. Oh, it's already there. Okay. Om Ajnanatirmirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupah Kada Mahyam Dadati Svapadantikam Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhara, Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Manojavam Marutatulya Vegam, Jitendriyam Buddhimatam Varishtham, Vatatmajam Vanarayotha Mukhyam, Sri Ramadutam Shirasa Namami. Kujantam Rama Rameti, Madhuram Madhuraksharam, Aruhya Kavita Shakham, Vande Valmiki Kokilam, Apadam Apahartaram, Dataram Sarvasampadam, Lokabhiramam Shri Ramam, Bhuyo Bhuyo Namamyaham, Dakshine Lakshmano Yasya, Vame Cha Janakatmajah, Purato Marutir Yasya, Tam Vande Raghunandanam. Welcome back. Sri Hanumanji has overcome two obstacles, one by Mainaka, although he didn't intend to be an obstacle, and then Surasa, who was commissioned by the demigods and sages as a means to test Hanumanji's strength, valor, and intelligence. They also wanted to make sure that he's not going to give in to despondency and say, how am I going to accomplish my task? So now Hanumanji, after overcoming these two obstacles, is continuing to fly. In fact, Valmiki says that he appeared like the king of mountains with long wings. He also appeared like Garuda. And Hanuman, after meeting Surasa, flew high into the sky. He went beyond where the clouds are. And there's a lot of description that that is the pathway of all the siddhas and charanas. There is also the pathway in which Agni accepts all the svahas that we offer and takes it to the to deliver to the demigods and other beings that one is propitiating. It is also the path on which Garuda flies, etc. So while Hanuman is flying, his shadow apparently is on the ocean, and it's about 10 miles wide. And as he's flying, Valmiki says, Plavamanam tutam drashtva simhika nama rakshasi manasa chintayamasa pravriddha kamarupinim. Chintayamasa. Surasa started thinking and saying, oh, who is this being that is come my way? She saw Hanuman up in the sky. This Rakshasi thinking that, today I have found my lunch. It was in the evening, so it must be supper. And she says, Adya dirghasya kalasya bhavishyam aham ashitaha. After a long time, I think I have got something wonderful to eat. And so let me quickly grab him. Iti sanchintaya manasa, thinking like this, chayam asya samakshipta. This demoness, Suras Simhika, had the gift of capturing someone by holding on to their shadow. Now, different people have different skills or gifts. Simhika was blessed with the gift of capturing someone by holding to their shadow. I mean, none of us has that gift. In fact, shadows cannot be captured by anyone, but Simhika did. And thinking this way, Chayayam Grahamanayam Chintayamasa Vanara. And she immediately held that wide shadow that was cast on the ocean surface. And once she grabbed that shadow, she began pulling down. Hanuman, who's flying at high velocity, suddenly became still. He got captured. Hanuman thought, I am caught. I'm almost handicapped. I'm so huge, like a massive ship in the ocean, but I've been retarded by a forceful wind coming in the opposite direction. There's so much resistance. I cannot move forward. And he wondered, what is it? Tirgya urdhvam adhaschaiva vikshamanasatah kapihi. Tiryag means all around, in the four directions. So he was up in the sky. He looked around to see if there was anyone opposing him. He couldn't find anyone. He looked up. There wasn't anyone up there. He looked down. And he saw Dadarsha sa mahasatva utitha lavanambasi. From the saltwater ocean, this massive being came out. And she looked up at Hanuman. Seeing this very frightening, gory form of Rakshasi, Hanuman reflected that, oh, this creature has the ability to hold on to my shadow. That's what's going on. And Sugriva had told me about her. It's that same creature, no doubt. She's called Chaya Grahi. Graha means to hold. That's why the planets are called Grahas, Navagraha, because they hold or they have an influence upon us. So Chaya Grahi means one who can hold on to a shadow. Chaya Grahi Mahaviryam Tadidam Na Atra Samshaya. This is that demon that Sugriva had talked to me about. So when I was studying this, I said, Sugriva, where? So we went back to Kishkindha Kanda. In Kishkindha Kanda, chapter 41, verse number 26. This is Sugriva speaking to Hanuman and all the monkeys going in the southern direction. He describes the entire southern region. And he tells them, you will come to Vindhya mountains. From Vindhya mountains, you will go further down. You will come to this beautiful mountain called Mahendra, which is full of flowering trees. It's a very sacred place. Great Vidyadharas and the Rishis always gather there as a sporting venue. If you cross at all, if you have to, then you have to cross to that side, which is impossible for any living being to do. And that's the ocean, beyond which is Ravana's island. But as you cross the ocean, if you ever have to, be very careful of this demon called Simhika. But he uses a different name. He says, Dakshinasya Samudrasya Madhye, in the middle of the southern ocean. Tasya tu Rakshasi, there is a Rakshasi. Angaraka iti Vikhyata. Her name is Angaraka. Angaraka, actually. Vikhyata, she's very famous, or she's known by. Chayam Akrishya Bhojini. She is the one who holds to people's shadow, and that's how she eats away anybody crossing that ocean. So when Hanuman looked down, he saw Simhika. And this Simhika had opened her mouth wide. And she kept on opening her mouth so wide as she was looking at Hanuman, because he was massive in size. She was assessing, how big do I need to open my mouth so I can swallow Hanuman. Now, Hanuman, as he's being pulled down, started to increase his size. So Simhika opened her mouth even wider, just like Surasa did. The only difference is there Simhika first widened her mouth and Hanuman tried to match her size. Here, Hanuman is becoming bigger and Simhika is matching his size. So she opened her mouth so wide that when Hanuman looked in, Valmiki says that he could see her vital organs inside, her heart, her lungs, he could see. So Hanuman, with great speed, became small, Angulika size again, and sped right into her mouth. Unlike Surasa, where he had just entered the cavity of her mouth and come out, here he entered right inside, where he could see her vital organs, her heart. And he completely crushed, pierced her heart and broke out of her chest and came out with such force that Simhika didn't know what was going on. And in a moment, Simhika was finished. And then Hanuman rose back up into the sky and continued on his path towards Lanka. And so by a very quick execution of very smart and intelligent and thinking fast method, Hanumanji finished Simhika. So the sages and demigods were awestruck by his fantastic strength, valor, and thinking in the intense moment, how he can accomplish what he has his vision set upon. And the sages and the demigods became very happy. Valmiki says that Simhika's heart was completely crushed and she fell down back into the ocean with a great crash. And then the sages say, actually, Hanuman was created by Lord Brahma for the purpose of killing Simhika. And so he has accomplished that mission. Although it was incidental. Yet, that's what the sages say. And the sages and demigods say something to Hanuman, which I want to do it in our next session, because I want to dedicate that whole session to these 4 qualities that they say Hanuman has. Since we're talking of obstacles, I'm going to keep this short today, but I want to spend time on that and when we meet next time. So Simhika, although he killed her, Hanumanji killed her, she represents something else as an obstacle. She represents, for different commentators give different understandings of who Simhika represents, so we'll look through all of that. First, Simhika represents the obstacles due to ignorance or mode of ignorance. Unlike passion or goodness, the way to confront the obstacles coming from ignorance is to take them head on. If we don't take the obstacles of ignorance head on, then they have a tendency to completely destroy whatever we are trying to work on. For example, sleep, laziness, defeatist, pessimism. These are all mode of ignorance obstacles, or losing self-confidence, etc., that have to be dealt with directly, not indirectly. So if someone is sleepy, then, this is just an example. When a student is studying and they're sleepy, the way you deal with it is not say, okay, I'll take a 10-minute nap. Especially if you have not slept, then yes, maybe it's refreshing. But just the fact that study makes a person sleepy. There is a saying by Vyasadeva in one of the Puranas. I've been searching for it, and I'm sure I'll find it and share it with you. He says that there are 3 activities that put a person to sleep, or 3 situations that put a person to sleep, and 3 situations that will never make a person fall asleep. The first is the company of one's own wife makes a person fall asleep peacefully, because there is this comfort, there is security, the sense of, I have a partner. So they sleep comfortably, it seems. Next is pustakam. As soon as a person opens a book, somehow it induces sleep. And a third one is japam. I don't know if everyone has that experience, but it's a common experience that as soon as the hand goes into the bead bag, a person feels very sleepy. But you keep the bead bag aside, somehow the sleep also goes away. And 3 things that don't make a person fall asleep is when a person has an amorous relationship with someone else, then they cannot sleep because they don't want to lose that opportunity, that moment. It's so much of excitement that they can't sleep. Or when one is a thief. A thief can't sleep at night because that's their time for working. And third is vittam. As a person's money grows and they're saving the money, in an olden style, they'd say save the money at home. They can't sleep because they're afraid a thief might take it away. So these have to be counteracted strongly. So that's what Simhika represents, one aspect. Another, and these kinds of obstacles make a person's sadhana weakened. Another obstacle that, or another version of the obstacle that Simhika represents is nishedhas, or ignoring of nishedhas, or performing activities that are not recommended. So as a sadhaka, Rupa Goswami has told us that we follow rules, which means what one should do, and we also follow regulations, what one should not do. Satatam smartavyo Vishnuhu vismartavyo na jatuchit sarve vidhi nishedasyor etayoreva kinkaraha. So a sadhaka's life is full of vidhis and nishedas, or do's and don'ts. Like in Ashtanga Yoga, we have do's and don'ts, yama and niyamas. As important as it is to follow the do's, is important to avoid the do nots, or follow the do nots. Don't do what we're not supposed to do. So there are, in the Nectar of Devotion, Rupa Goswami has given 64, of which 32 are literally do nots, and 32 are what one should do. And if you read that list, you might wonder, Rupa Goswami, who speaks about love and Raga-Ruga Bhakti, gives things like sitting in front of the deities with the feet facing the deities, or turning your back to the deity, to not offer an obeisances in front of the deities, etc., etc. One may say, hey, what will happen if I don't do it? The reason Simhika represents this sort of negligence, which in Nectar of Instruction, Rupa Goswami calls it Niyamagraha. Niyama agraha means to hold on to rules very carefully, or niyama agraha means to neglect what we are meant to do. We are meant to accept certain rules and we are meant to avoid certain things. So when one is negligent of it, one may not see the direct connection of how it's pulling us down, because these things hold on to, as Simika holds on to, a shadow. So we can't see the direct connection or direct correlation, but definitely brings or drags the sadhaka down. And that is what Simika represents. She holds on to a shadow, because the shadow is not connected to a person unless they're on the ground. And Hanuman's in the sky. One may think, oh, what is it going to do? We may not see the immediate effect, but over a period of time, this negligence draws a person down. A third version is Simika represents envy. The nature of envy is that envious persons pull someone who's doing well. The tendency is to pull them down. It feeds their happiness. And that is how Simika was thinking, I will eat. Is someone who's up there, I'm going to pull them down. This idea of envy is very, very detrimental. And one has to confront that envy. Of course, as followers of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we are recommended to deal with this envy, ideally by offering of respect. And one way to offer respect, perhaps in a situation, is to create some distance and respect from a distance. Otherwise, it's not possible. When one is too close, it's hard. Without a little distance, respect cannot come into place. So Simhika is one of those that for every sadhaka, dealing with the mode of ignorance or dealing with ignorance is important. Of course, like last week, we might face a question that ignorance also is helpful in terms of rejuvenation. Sure, but that's, as we said, is invoking is one thing, and dealing with it when it shows up on its own or the lower nature shows up is a different thing. So let's look at the three obstacles Hanumanji has faced so far. The first one is of the quality of goodness, where there is respect and honor offered to Hanuman. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has taught us, amanina, manadena. And that's what Hanuman did. Amanina, I don't need the honor. Manadena was to say, Pritosmi, Kritamatityam. I accept the hospitality that you have offered, but I cannot accept it in the form that you have offered. I can accept it in the substance that you have offered. Or Bhaktivinoda Thakur tells us that sammana, that I am a victim of the honor given by others. And I don't want that. I want to be able to honor others instead. Humility means to not seek honor for oneself. So by taking on honor, Hanuman would have lost his humility. So what did Hanuman do? He looked at Mainaka and he said, thank you for your hospitality, but I have a purpose. I have an objective. That is the service of Sri Ramachandra, and that's where I'm heading. He took a very humble position. Humility is to remember, to reinstate oneself in one's service and service attitude. Then came Surasa. Surasa, the tasteful enjoyments of gathering from prayasa, a person by working hard, by engaging in more and more of material type activities, gets some pleasure or the idea of pleasure. And for that, their labor has to increase because the desires also increase. And because there is some taste in it, there is taste of following rules only for the sake of rules. The following things that are offered in the Vedas, because they always dangle a carrot. And following that, yam imam pushpitam vacham pravridanti. Krishna says in the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita that the Vedic rules dangle a carrot. They're very wonderful, flowery language. They have a flowery language because they attract, they inspire a person to work towards material aggrandizement a lot more, to increase piety. So if even the Bhagavatam gives us references. Oh, one wants money, then one worships and propitiates a certain demigod. One wants good health, then someone has to go and please some other devata. Some want a beautiful, handsome husband, then such and such. One wants a beautiful wife, then one worships such and such devi. And they fuel a person's desires to enjoy in this world, and for which it requires hard labor, prayasa. But prayasa weakens one's actual dharma or swadharma, that is, fulfilling human form of life. It doesn't mean one should give up this for that. One should do this enough to survive and do that to live, because that's what gives life. When I say that, I mean one's bhakti, one's sense of yoga, one's connection with the Supreme. That is how you bring both together. Otherwise, they work against each other or they're not connected. That's why people say, I find it hard because I have material work and I have spiritual activities. The fact that there is the separation is seen is because the underlying connection has not been made. But when one sees one's work as devotional service or dovetailed, when one sees not just the activity, because one may say, oh, what is my activity connected to the process of bhakti? It may not be the activity, but it is the underlying intention of activity. In Bhagavatam, 1st canto, 5th chapter, where Narada Muni is speaking to Vyasadeva, it's a beautiful verse where Narada Muni says, it doesn't matter what line of work one may be, but they're all meant for Uttama Shloka Gunanuvarnanam. They're meant for the glorification of the Supreme. And in fact, every activity in this world is also some derivative of or manifestation of his own energy. So it is some connection, and it is one's journey to find that connection. And finally, Simhika, that cautions us to strongly avoid those activities that weaken one's bhakti, especially the negative activities. We call them in Bhagavad Gita language, vikarmas. There is karma, there is vikarma. We are meant to perform a karma. And that is what Hanuman is doing. And if you notice, with Mainaka, there was very pleasing, gentle, respectful language. With Surasa, there was the Katha of Ramachandra. With Simmika, no conversation. He remembered that Sugriva had told him there is a demoness who's Chaya Grahi, one who captures shadows. And so there was no conversation, there was no negotiation, no discussion. With Surasa, there was some negotiation. I'll go and come back. I'm on a mission. With Simmika, straight and tore the heart. The tearing of the heart means going to the root of that ignorance and taking care of that obstacle once and for all. And this is how Hanumanji is showing us to conduct our own sadhana bhakti. Now, the form or the ways in which we do it might differ. Obviously, we are not faced by Simmika demoness. We're not flying over the ocean. So the storyline, the Leela is fantastic. The hidden messages or underlying between the lines messages is that we are also traversing, although we are not flying over the ocean of material existence. We are in the ocean of material existence. That's the difference. Hanumanji represents the spiritual master who is not of existence of the material ocean. So that's true. But as a sadhaka, the application is still very valid. To identify what are those ignorant or what are those influences of ignorance and how to deal with them. One of the ways to deal with them is not to give them space, not to give them an opportunity. One may say, oh, I failed. That's fine. Failure is part of the journey. But getting up, reinstating, resolving, recommitting, and moving forward. Very, very critical, very important. So that's what Simmika does. Now, the rest of the story is he flies the rest and lands in Lanka. But before he does, the sages and demigods say something which will be the topic for our next session. So I'm going to pause here and see if there are any questions or comments or thoughts. And I'm sorry, the first few minutes was a little exercise. I was trying to figure out how to do live streaming. I was not mentally prepared for it. But sorry for that, and thank you for your patience. Any questions, comments, thoughts?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. This is Kirti. Am I audible, Prabhu?
Yes.
Thank you for the nice class, Prabhu. While you were explaining the three obstacles that Hanuman faced and the three modes or the three different categories that they belong to, I was thinking sometimes, how do I distinguish that this is in the mode of ignorance and I need to take head on, whereas the other one probably is in the mode of passion?
Well, thanks to Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapters 14, 17, 18, there's a whole delineation of the mentality and activities within the three modes and the symptoms of what happens. Pleasing, agitating, or sleep inducing, or so one needs to have that roadmap either clear or somewhere where one can refer to, or someone with whom you can refer to and identify. And it's never one particular mode. The modes are dynamic and they're constantly mixing. So there's always a proportion of some proportion of all three. But there are certain circumstances and certain times and certain behaviors that feed one mode over the others. And that is for each one of us to recognize, either individually or with the help of someone and the help of the Bhagavad Gita. By the time you recognize, oh, that's passion, it changes to ignorance. Or it gives in, or it drives, it adds. So the remedy provided is follow activities of goodness. So you would resonate with, or the mode of goodness would resonate with Sattva Guna, and life in general will be sattvic. Like that.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Anything else? How many of us knew that when Hanumanji saw Simhika, he was reminded of what Sugriva told him? I couldn't remember. I had to go refer back again. Nothing else? Going in 3, 2,
Hare Krishna.
1.
Dandavat. This Radha Balabhadas.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah, wonderful classes. I've been following few of them since last few weeks. Yeah, you mentioned again about the intention of Hanuman. It's so inspiring, and we see senior Vaishnavas, who are dedicated. They have a very strong sense of purpose, very strong sense of intention. So again, to have that consistent, sense of intention or connection is something I think you mentioned. I was trying to meditate on that. Is that comes through regular recommitting ourselves, right? We have, at least talk about myself, we have a tendency to miss the intention, right? Not being with that more intent. What's the intention? Like you said, the work. Work is a devotional service. The activity may not reflect. It's not doing an arti or something, but it's actually so keep that orientation of intention. I just wanted to explore a little bit more with you, Prabhu.
Thank you. You bring up a nice point, Radha Vallabha Prabhu. Intention is strong when the vision is strong. This is the Vyavasayatmika Buddhi. And we're going to talk about it coming up, that vision, if the vision is not clear, then the intention, which is what fuels person to meet their vision, is not strong. It gets, the language we're all used to is splayed. It gets distributed, weakened, shared. So it cannot be resolute. So again and again, when we say we recommit, actually it's committing to that vision. And it's important for devotees, or for anybody actually, anybody in life. Without a vision, one cannot move. Or one moves by one is moved by circumstances. Everybody, especially devotees, we all spend time, energy in creating a vision. Sometimes we may not even be clear what a vision is and what a vision is not. Most people confuse vision with some activity or a particular set of things that they want to acquire. That's not a vision necessarily. Vision is very broad, big direction that one wants to achieve and go to, a state of being. And that's required. It's called drishti. being able to see or visualize our end goal and what it takes to keep going on that and not get distracted and moved by it or disturbed by it or distracted.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Please. Is it over or should I?
So we are, I mean, if you'd like to join, I think it's in person, but I don't know. Yamuna Jivana can give us details, but we are doing this in Naperville next weekend. We're calling it the VIP, where it means vision, inspiration, and passion. Passion, not the Bhagavad Gita way of passion, but the worldly sense of passion, the drive that is required. So we're going to talk about creating a vision. First, what is a vision? What is not a vision? Creating a vision. What's the inspiration that feeds that vision? And what's the passion that carries the person through that inspiration? So VIP, we're doing that next Saturday in Naperville. If you're in the Chicago area, you're welcome to join. Sorry, someone else spoke. Is it Parama Karuna?
Please accept my humble obeisance. Sorry for that. I was thinking that you finished it. I'm so sorry. Please accept the obeisances. Agrish Prabhupada. So Prabhu, I understand you were saying vision should be there, and but then question comes. I'm not trying to make it hard, but there's a verse called Yanastaya Nararajan na Pramadyeta Karhichit Dhavan Nirmitavan Nitra na Skalet na Patet Iha. That even if you walk on the devotional path with the blind eyes, that's the one reference. There is no loss. The second reference is in Bhagavad Gita, Tesham Eva Anukam Artham Ahamaknyana Chamatama. Prabhupada write in that purport that even if you have no idea about your spiritual life, but if you keep on doing your service, then spiritual master, you get enlightenment from inside. So how can we understand that even if you don't have vision, still the success is guaranteed in the spiritual path?
The fact that one wants to be a devotee, and that first verse that you spoke about, that one closes the eyes but still is on the path of devotional service, that is the vision, that I want to be on the path of devotional service. If that vision is not there, then that verse is not true. I cannot just go anywhere with my eyes closed and think I'll get to my destination. What it means, that verse does not mean you don't have a vision. What it means is you don't have to look here and there and think what else you need. But there is a vision. The same Prabhupada who gave us the verse always had a vision, a very clear vision, a purpose that drove his sense of being and what he was doing. And he hammered it into everyone again and again and again, what that vision is. He didn't say, follow my vision. He said, create a vision. This is the vision. This is the human form of life. Have a vision for it. It's the example we're going to discuss a little bit. I don't want to let it out full, but Prabhupada sitting at the bus stop, someone's talking to him. Oh yes, we are a worldwide movement with hundreds of temples. Only time separates it. He had a clear idea. And it's not just the things that there is a temple and that's the vision, but the temple is a means of fulfilling a vision for him. So one has to find what is that vision, what is it that they are growing after. Just because we have Kantimala, a Japamala in the hand, it doesn't mean that there is a vision necessarily for it. Something needs to keep it going. There is a vision. We may not necessarily be aware of it, perhaps, or we may not speak it, but one should have it clear for oneself.
Makes sense, Prabhu. Makes sense. So just I'm finishing it. So vision, the initial vision when we join Krishna consciousness, that vision is enough to keep us going. We don't have to keep changing our vision that, hey, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this service. The vision that I want to continue in Krishna consciousness, that is enough to keep us going, right?
I'm sorry, I got distracted with the last sentence. Say it again.
So, for example, if the person joined Krishna consciousness, when I join Krishna consciousness, I have a vision that, hey, I want to do service. That was my vision. And is it required to keep changing our vision and as we progress in devotional service, our vision also changes, or is the same vision continue?
Right. If you're in Naperville, join us, because I want to do service is not vision. It's inspiration. Or maybe you may need to word it or rephrase it, but I want to do service is not necessarily vision. It's a state of being and just this little example will show us that it's not necessarily so easy. But it's also not very difficult. It just needs a little effort, a little thinking of creating a vision that we are heading towards. Doing service is a means that help us get to that vision that we have. For example, there is a verse Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given us. Janma sarthaka kari karapara upkar. Okay, that's a vision statement. Janma sarthaka kari. Now, for different people, that sartha, sa artha, along with purpose, can mean differently. It'll look different. The path will be different. The inspiration will be different. What is that sartha? The vision is should be clear. Janma sarthaka kari and kara para upkar. Help others meet that vision, their own vision, not your vision. And the idea of Sankirtan means we bring all our visions together for a common purpose. And that is the thing of making sure that our visions are not clashing, but there is synergy in our vision. So we're bringing it together. Because the means are the path of bhakti, our vision of how I want to develop my own self may be different from the way you want to develop your own self within the realm of bhakti. But that is, I want to do service, for example, is not a statement of vision. It needs a little bit more definition to it. And I don't want to do the seminar or that part right now, but let's keep it to what we're discussing.
I think what will be helpful for him to know is, like, I think the vision.
Speak it loudly so they can hear. She walked into the room. That's why I was smiling.
The thing, I should have been on Zoom. I'm on YouTube, so I can't speak. But what I was thinking is that.
Can you hear? Can you hear Hemangi's voice?
Yes, clearly. As
Okay.
clear as can.
So I think at least my thing, how I'm looking at what Parma Karuna Prabhu is sharing is that vision is something that it's like, what is it called? In the sea, you have this post, like, that guides you. What is it called?
Lighthouse.
Lighthouse, yeah. It's like the lighthouse. And to get there, your why keeps changing. When you join, your why is different. And as you are going deeper in your career, the why changes. So vision is different from the why. So vision doesn't change. Vision is very clear, but what changes is the why. Why am I doing it? Because once that why gets addressed, in the beginning it is, oh, I need association. This is where I am. This is what it is. And those needs, when they get satisfied, then your why changes to the next thing. So in that way, we are very conscious. We are not like very absent-mindedly going that, okay? Am I making sense?
Parma Karuna has to answer.
Yes, it makes sense. It makes sense, but I have counter questions. Keep going, Mataji. We can ask later. But keep
Your
going.
counter questions, come to Naperville,
Naperville,
not
yes.
right now.
Come
Okay.
to Naperville.
Let's not get distracted from the topic. Or when we meet next time, when the demigods are going to give Hanuman the great commendation, the medal that he has, 4 medals, 4 things that he has. That is why his activities will never fail. Drishti is one of them. We can talk then again also.
Thank you
Okay,
so
any
much.
other question? Okay, so thank you very much, and we'll see you in 2 weeks. We will not be meeting next weekend, as you've already guessed why. Will not be available. We'll meet the Saturday after. So we will meet on March 18th. If that's a Saturday, yeah, that's a Saturday. Today's 4th. Okay, so thank you very much and see you then. Until then, may Hanumanji inspire us to feel the strength of conviction, to feel the sense of purpose, and hopefully help us create a vision for our own life and what its meaning is and how we follow that vision for ourselves. Shri Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman Ji ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada.